It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
Hello and welcome. He is Gary McNamara. I'm Eric Harley. Welcome to the Tuesday show. Hello, Gary. How are you?
Well, we're covering the big story here just when you thought it could not get bizarre from the left. Are you ready for this story from MSNBC?
Okay,
Breaking news last night from MSNBC.
The new reporting from the Miami Herald we want to tell you about. They've confirmed in the last hour that former President Donald Trump's campaign flew in a blue Gulfstream jet formerly owned by sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, using it to travel to several campaign fundraisers over the weekend. According to a Trump campaign spokesperson, Trump en route on his own private plane to a campaign event in Bozeman, Montana last week, unexpectedly landing in Billings because of mechanical problems. He and part of his staff then flew on a small charter plane to Bozeman for a rally Friday night. The next day, he switched to another larger plane with a serial number that matches a plane once owned by Epstein.
That's it. That's the end of the campaign. He flew on a plane, and the plane was responsible for everything that Epstein did.
We're getting this breaking news at Red Eye Radio. We are just learning that Donald Trump occupies the same planet that Jeffrey Epstein did at one time. We're also learning that Donald Trump has a headquarters in New York and that Jeffrey Epstein had visited New York multiple times. We believe the same city in New York.
Donald Trump has visited Germany, where Hitler once reigned.
He also wants to build a wall.
And the communists built a wall.
The communists built a wall.
In East Germany.
Much like the mediocre wall of China. It was the first one they built. That was the first one they built, and they were like, nah, it needs to be better. Needs to be better. Okay, build a better one. It's got to be longer. It's got to be longer. This is a good wall. Nah, we need a better one. So they did a third one, and it became the Great Wall.
I can't believe it. He should have rejected that charter plane.
How did they not vet the plane?
See, that's why Trump can't be president, because he's not vetting the planes that he flies on, and he doesn't know who might have flown the plane 20 years ago in that plane 10, 15, 20 years ago. Damn it.
The charter
He's not
plane
qualified.
Flying in the same actual plane as Jeffrey Epstein.
You know, and not only that, but the plane flew in the same atmosphere on Earth that Epstein did.
Right. And for more, we go to our Epstein correspondent, Bill Clinton. Bill? What? Hey, what? I didn't, what?
I'm not still happy. I'm not still happy that they got me speaking on Monday night at the convention.
Right. First they told him Sunday night. Hey, look, he'll show up Sunday night. Watch him show up.
Well,
Sunday night.
We had said
Monday
morning at 7 a.m. and Morning Joe would cover it.
That's right. Maybe. Who's that on stage? Yeah, it's so idiotic. That's honestly, that is right off of an SNL bit. That's so bad. Send that over and just have Lorne Michaels replay it this coming Saturday night. That should be your cold open right there. That's your cold open, SNL. You got it. That's as stupid as it gets. That's as thoughtless and mindless. It's as if, well, didn't you do a pre-flight safety check? I mean, it's just idiotic. Just idiotic.
Oh, my God.
Wow. Breaking news. We are just learning.
We're just learning.
Wow. My gosh.
This also in, George Costanza did not buy the car actually owned by the real actor John Voight, but by the dentist John Voight.
That's right. John, not Jon.
It's one of the best moments of Seinfeld ever, where they're driving in the car, and it's like George is so happy because he bought the car from John Voight, and Jerry looks in the glove compartment, and there's whatever, I don't know, with an old insurance thing. He goes, I was owned by John Voight. John. Get out of the car. He kicks him out of the car.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my God. Jeez, these people are just, they are truly insane. Trump should have rejected it. He should have rejected that charter.
Right.
Why didn't he ask the question?
Right.
I wonder if there was analysis on that on MSNBC last night, whether they had analysis on, well, it figures that Trump would do it. It figures that Trump would fly on that plane.
Right. Well, it's what are you going to go to? Your pedophilia flight expert? I mean, how do you break that down? How would they have known? How in the world would they have known? And by the way, if they had known, why would they care? It's a charter plane.
Right. Is there something immoral, even if you found out that you were flying in a plane once owned by Jeffrey Epstein? Should that plane have been retired?
Right. We believe they both ate food. This just in, Donald Trump breathes air, and we're learning so did Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, up to a point. Up to that one point.
Oh, my God.
It's just stupid.
I don't even know where to go.
It's
it's
just
like,
idiotic.
can we go home now?
This is it. This is what you found? Where are the news editors? Where's the editor? I mean, somebody in an office said, "Oh, go with it. Go with it. Stop programming." What do they run at that time? Is it Andy Griffith reruns? What do they run? What are they playing? I don't have cable. Somebody'd have to fill me in.
You don't need all those shows are on streaming or over the air now.
It's just somebody and a number of people made the decision to go with that.
Yep.
To go with that story. Wow.
All right, now we want to lead you to pay attention here for a second, all right? CBS News.
Right.
All right, this is CBS News going back weeks ago when Trump announced no taxes on tips. Okay?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Right.
This is both from CBS News. Former President Donald Trump's vow to stop taxing tips would cost the federal government up to $250 billion over 10 years, according to a nonpartisan watchdog group. CBS News this week. Vice President Kamala Harris is rolling out a new policy position, saying she'll fight to end taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers. We'll say that again. When it was Trump, from CBS News, former President Donald Trump's vow to stop taxing tips would cost the federal government up to $250 billion over 10 years, according to a nonpartisan watchdog group. CBS News this week on Kamala Harris. Vice President Kamala Harris is rolling out a new policy position, saying she'll fight to end taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
It's almost exactly the same take. Except for that one thing, My gosh.
Meanwhile, Newsweek. You ready?
All right.
Here's the headline from Newsweek. The publication released an article titled Kamala Harris, Tax Proposal Backed by Majority of Republicans, talking about banning taxes on tips.
Yeah.
That Kamala Harris has come out with a plan that's backed by Republicans.
Right. Yeah.
You are seeing, we look at what happened for the Russia collusion hoax. It was completely false. But you've seen now propaganda from the media rise to a level that I think has never been seen in American history.
My dad and I were talking yesterday. We had a very long conversation, and he said it went into effect. He felt it right away. The moment it was announced that Joe wasn't running and Joe had endorsed her, it's like everything went into motion. And I felt the same thing. We've talked about it a couple of times on the air. And we also talked about how, by comparison, the Russian hoax thing was very Clinton-esque, sophisticated planning and implementation of a scheme that went really, 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 really far. Well, when you have everybody, this is Fight Club. This is Tyler Durden. This is everybody knows what to do. Everybody knows. It doesn't matter. They're everywhere. It's the same mindset. It is. You don't even have to say a word. My dad said this. They don't even have to talk to each other. I said, no, we talked about that, numerous times on the program. Dad, you might just might remind you, I have a radio show. And so so I said, this is something we've covered many times. It's not a conspiracy. You don't have to get people to do it. They're already on board. It is a culture. It is a similar mindset. They're already in motion. And the moment that they could find somebody coherent to be the cardboard cutout candidate, then it was on. And they're not going to let go. The liberal media is complicit.
Let me make a correction here. Bill Clinton goes on Wednesday night of the convention.
Okay. All right.
Hillary and Biden go on Monday. We said that because we're like, they can't put Biden on Monday. And I said, I bet you they put Biden on Monday.
11 a.m.
So Biden and Hillary go on Monday.
Wow.
Bill goes on Wednesday night.
Okay.
You want to hear Scott Jennings on CNN?
All right.
Had a couple of things to say yesterday. You ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. By the way, it's almost as if we have no planning on the show.
They just hand us these because it's just everything is just
right.
so weird.
And it's like we plan a show and it's like, we throw it out the window. It's like by the time normally it's the planning of the show before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
When I wake up, it's like, that's completely changed. But here's Scott Jennings on CNN.
At the convention, does that choice suggest anything to you?
I mean, they're putting two of the most disliked politicians in America on Monday, far away from Kamala Harris as they can. The one that puzzles me the most is Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
I look forward to hearing all the Democrats bash Donald Trump all week for his treatment of women, and then turning around and clapping like seals for noted female advocate Bill Clinton on Wednesday night. I don't know what it takes to get canceled in America anymore, but if we haven't reached the threshold with Bill Clinton, I don't know that we ever will. I mean, for all of the attacks on Donald Trump, for his conduct with women over the years, to put Bill Clinton on Wednesday night, beyond the pale, massive hypocrisy, huge double standard, whatever you want to call it, but it seems strange to me.
Noted female advocate. But I wondered the same thing when you just said that. You said Bill Clinton on Wednesday night. I'm thinking, what? Because Wednesday night would be your it's the rising star power, basically, along the way. And typically, it would have been, if Biden were still running, then it would have been Kamala Harris on Wednesday and then Biden on Thursday. Well, now, Bill Clinton? Bill Clinton, I don't know. I don't know why in the world you would put Bill Clinton anywhere else but Monday. Because you do want that separation. Here's my question. Is Bill Clinton popular with Democrats? Is his popularity, has he regained some popularity that you and I aren't aware of?
No, I don't think he matters. And I think what they want is they want to put Biden and Hillary on Monday. Clinton will just do generic stuff. He's not the same Clinton that he was, 30 years ago. And I just think they just want to fill this thing out without having a disaster happen.
Well, it's a good point, because how do you fill out those primetime slots? Because Bill Clinton won't be the keynote on Wednesday. That'll be Walz.
Right. They're trying to stay away from anything Hollywood or radical. They're trying to promote themselves as a centrist party, which they are not. Byron York had a great one yesterday. He said, create a really big problem, accuse your opponent of not wanting to fix the problem that you created, promise that if elected and if Congress passes a certain bill, you will fix the problem you created, and then feel the vibes.
No, it's what we've been saying.
It is. I mean,
that's exactly what we have been saying for years about the Democrats, is that it's an arsonist setting the structure on fire in the back and then walking around front saying, give me the hose, the garden hose, I'm going to put the fire out.
And the Democrats are testing right now to see how big of idiots we are as a United States voting population.
Right.
Because it's absolutely obvious to everybody what's going on.
Right.
866-90-RED-EYE.
This report is brought to you by Shell Rotella. With advanced synthetic technology, is designed to help keep your rig running with more mileage and less maintenance. How much do you know about synthetic oil? Heavy-duty trucks have been running on traditional mineral oil for the last 100 years, but today's technology brings us other options to consider. Synthetic is better quality. Unlike conventional oil, synthetic oils have a consistent molecular structure, giving it the ability to support pressures from higher horsepower engines, especially at lower RPMs. It also allows oil to reduce friction in an engine, controlling temperatures and improving fuel economy. Lastly, they're cleaner. Synthetics pick up fewer contaminants as they do their job of lubrication. They also have a better oxidation stability, resulting in an overall cleaner engine.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Carly, and I'm Gary McNamara. I've heard clips of the interview last night, Elon Musk. What did I say?
Musk?
Mux. Elon Musk. M-U-X. I like it. M-U-X.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just looking at it where it is on Twitter, on X. 3 hours long?
Yeah. Does that include the delay? It was delayed for a while.
Yeah, it was delayed at least, like 45 minutes.
I don't know how much of the...
Okay.
I mean, I assume they wouldn't post that part of it, but...
Yeah. And from... Here's how... Well, was everything okay? Yeah, because the campaign, Hillary, the Harris campaign, they both begin with H.
Yeah.
Nothing stuck.
Yeah.
So with Trump, that's what you look for. Is it the story at the end of the day? If not, Trump did okay.
Yeah.
They can't get anything out of it. So that's how, I'll listen to it later on and go through probably, if there's a transcript, probably go through the transcript because I can read faster than I can actually. And then I can't fast forward it.
Yeah.
I can't listen to it at a faster rate.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that gets annoying. You ever do that? Just speed it up to 1.5 times. It's
I can't speed it up.
No.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
And he is Eric Carly, and I'm Gary McNamara. Download our Red Eye Radio app today and listen when you choose. Because a few minutes after our show's done, the show becomes our podcast.
Yeah.
And you can listen all day.
Yep. Thank you.
You can listen whenever you want.
Yeah.
What was I going to say here? Okay. I know I had something to say because we have 4.5 hours left in our talk show.
Yeah, we'll be talking.
Oh, I know. I know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I
Yeah.
just,
All right.
I didn't know this until Alan handed it to me. The Trump campaign says that if Harris doesn't agree to the two other debates, they'll just do the one on ABC and they make the other one town halls. I don't understand what in the hell's going on at times with this campaign. You absolutely, number one, to say that already, if you got to, the Trump campaign should be pounding, absolutely pounding. She doesn't want to do 3 debates. The polls show the American public wants at least 2 debates. They want to know where she stands. She's afraid to tell you. I've arranged it with 3. I mean, he went through the whole thing to talk about how he arranged 3 different, 3 different debates, and then nothing. And then by the time you get a couple days later, the campaign saying, well, if you won't agree to a debate, we'll do town halls. Town halls mean nothing.
No, you got to have debates, and she's the one who suffers on a debate stage.
Absolutely. She doesn't want to. She can't even do a minute of ad lib whatsoever. You've got, in any campaign, you've got to take risks. And this is a risk you take because she doesn't want to do it. Because the first one would be, as National Review pointed out today, would be on Fox.
Yeah.
That's the last place she wants to go is do it. So you force her to do it. Why? Because you can't lose the argument.
Yeah.
You cannot lose that argument. You get up there and you say 3 debates. Everybody knows, she's taking positions all over the place. Where does she really stand? The American public just saw the polling, and list who the pollster was, says the American public want at least 2 debates. I'm calling for 3. So the American public in this time in history knows exactly where I stand versus where she stands. And you pound it. Now, you may compromise a week before and say, okay, only 2 debates.
Right. Yeah.
But you do more than 1 debate on ABC. And for the life of me, I have no idea why the Trump campaign, and I'll say it bluntly, is wimping out on this.
Yeah, you don't need to fold on this. In fact, this is where it will be very clear. If you had 3 debates with her, it would be very clear who has the experience and who doesn't.
The campaign told the Epoch Times on Sunday that if Harris refuses to participate in a proposed September 4th debate on Fox News and another debate on September 25th on NBC News with Lester Holt as moderator, Trump will make solo appearances on television. No. Absolutely not. Now, you may end up doing that if she doesn't agree.
But you press them for debates.
Right. But if she won't agree, you say, nope, I'm not going to do it. Everybody knows where I stand. If you get down to the wire, nope, not going to do just 1. We're going to do more. Did you see? Oh man, he got burned big time. What's his name? And I don't like the name call, but you see Goldman yesterday with Brett Baer about the debates. Here we go. Listen to this here.
All right,
here we go.
If I'm Donald Trump, I understand why he doesn't want to debate. Kamala Harris is
he's
a
accepted
former
3.
prosecutor.
He said yes to September 4th, September 10th, September 17th. He said yes to a lot of them. So it's not that he's obviously afraid to debate.
No. So no. He had agreed to September 10th on ABC.
With Biden, who got pushed out.
What's the difference? Why should he not debate whoever the candidate is on September 10th as he agreed to? What is the difference between candidate Biden and candidate
it's fine.
Harris?
He said he would do it. I'm just saying he's also agreed to other debates. You said he hasn't agreed to others. He has. It's the Kamala Harris campaign that hasn't agreed on the.
You should see the look in his eyes. He's not even paying attention to what Democrats are so, I don't know what they are, arrogant, where they don't even know what's going on in the news. He has no idea that Trump has already agreed with the networks to 3 different debates. Goldman is completely clueless and is accusing Trump of not wanting to debate when Trump wants 3. I mean, it's just
another brick wall.
Yeah.
And how do you not know that? You're going to make that point with Brett Baer on Fox News as a Democrat. You better be right on it.
But you may compromise later on, but right now, every single day, Kamala Harris is afraid to debate me, and we wish to do it in a fair way, which, in fact, more than fair, more than gracious. We're willing to do 2 on liberal networks, 1 on a conservative network. Tell me where that's not fair. Kamala Harris is a coward. She does not want the American people to know where she actually stands on the issues.
Yeah.
You pound it day in and day out. You don't do it, and a couple of days later, the campaign come out and say, well, if she doesn't agree to it, then we're just going to do a town hall.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you may do that down the road, but you don't concede that now.
No.
God, just...
Yeah, it will be interesting to see where they go from this. And what the campaign does, because if you don't hold their feet to the fire, and there will be no other debates.
No, I don't think there will be any debates because they've just shown their hand,
and you're not going to force them. They know that,
right? I have no idea what the hell's going on. I mean, they're running great ads. J.D. Vance is great. Trump has been acceptable the last 5 days. He hasn't hurt himself. And here they do this.
Yeah.
You pound on this, and then a week before say, she won't agree to the other 2? Well, we're even willing to compromise since she's being cowardly. The American public say they at least want 2. Yeah. So I'll compromise for 2. If not, we don't do the 1.
Right. We're going to give the American people what they want at the very least.
But you pound it day in and day out for a month. Mm-hmm. You pound it.
Yep.
Why did the Trump campaign throw in the towel now?
Yeah, no, it's way too early.
I just, this goes back to, even 2020 at times where I said, does he even want to win? Well, sometimes things are just so stupid and I know they do, but it's just so stupid where it's like they don't want to win.
Well, the problem is you're coming off of her campaign and Democrats telling everybody you don't want to debate.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, it's the greatest opportunity to pound on her for a month.
It's the answer. And corners them, and it is one of the biggest backlashes right now because she's not talking otherwise.
Why the hell come out last week with, I've got 3 arranged. I've got 3, 1 with NBC, 1. I mean, when you heard that, you went, okay, that's completely and totally fair. What's she going to do? Nothing, except she's only going to do the one that Biden agreed to earlier.
Right.
No. And you can pound on her on this and nothing.
Right.
I don't get it. I for the life of me, I don't get it.
Well, the only thing you've got now, you're not going to get them to debate. And the only thing you've got now is to say, hey, we offered 3. We offered 3. We agreed to 3. We agreed to 3. And you stay on that. Let's see if they'll do that. I don't know where it gets you.
Well, you've already said you're only going to do 1.
Mm-hmm.
You made it clear we're only going to do 1 because the one that she's agreed to. You've already thrown in the towel. I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
You have another chance right now. Everything still, here we are on a Tuesday, and everything still is focused on your opposition, which is the Democrats. Well, more Walt stuff, stolen valor coming out yesterday. Everybody asking, why Harris won't do it. Why why Harris, won't do a press conference, why she won't do a long, extended interview with anyone. You've got them going, and here's another thing to pile on top every single day and say, what is she afraid of? What is she afraid of? What is she afraid of? The American public on the polling doesn't know where she stands on the issues.
Right.
Even though they do believe she stands with Biden on the specific issues, the polling shows. People don't know where she stands except abortion.
Well, we haven't heard her speak on it.
No. You pound her for a month on this. I mean, you're given gold and you just throw the gold out the window. Because the goal would be, number one, to be able to use this as a sledgehammer, political sledgehammer, day in and day out, because it's completely fair. Is there anything that Trump said that isn't fair that the American public wouldn't agree with? Which is, okay, I've arranged 3 debates, NBC, ABC, and Fox. With the one with Biden, I'll agree to that date, and I've thrown out two others, one with Fox. So it's 2 liberal media outlets, 1 conservative media outlet. I'm willing to do all 3, knowing you probably would just do 2 if you could get her to do it. In all likelihood, it would be 2, because that would be the compromise you would make with a couple, with a week before the Fox one was supposed to happen.
I would have actually started big. I want to do 1 each week between now and November 5th.
Well, I've got to deal with what we've got now.
No, I'm talking about where we were, where this whole thing began. You go big and show the world you're not afraid to debate.
Yeah. Well, I think saying 3 debates has had that impact.
Which is typically what you have. You have roughly 3 debates every presidential season in the general. But I would have gone even bigger.
Right.
And it's, you're going to have to press it now. Everybody on X is saying, well, Kamala needs to sit down with Elon Musk. That's not going to happen. As our friend and colleague Ben Shapiro put on X earlier, he said, there's no way she'd survive 2 hours, over 2 hours, a conversation of over 2 hours. That's not going to happen. Elon Musk said he's open to it about an hour ago. Nope. If she wants to go on the same platform and chat, we can do that. That's not going to happen. She's not talking to friendly media right now for a reason. Because she fails. At every turn, she fails. The surrogates are going to get tired of doing all the heavy lifting because she's doing none of her own lifting. None of it. In fact, she's only doing damage by picking people like Tim Walz as her Veep and putting out ridiculous ads that want you to believe she's tougher on the border than Donald Trump. And if you're a surrogate for her, and if you're in the liberal media, of course you're a surrogate for her. Don't you get tired of doing all the heavy lifting? Man, that's a huge facade to keep up. And you got to keep it going until November 5th. Just unreal. Unreal. It'll be interesting to see where it all pans out. She's not going to come back, and there's not going to be anything on the debate thing. Nothing's going to change.
By the way, there's still Trump tomorrow could come out and say, no, we demand 3 debates. Yeah, somebody in the campaign told that.
Can't.
But no, we want all 3 debates, and
we'll do all 3 debates, and we'll do town halls. We'll do all of it.
Right, we'll do all of it.
We can do all the above
because we're not afraid to talk to the American public.
When do you want to schedule them? Get with me right now, and we'll agree to whatever you want. Let's go. We want 3 debates.
Right.
We want 3 debates, and then we'll do town halls on top of that.
But we must have 3 debates or none.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because what I'm proposing is fair, and she's too cowardly to do it. You know where I stand.
Keep throwing out that number, 3 debates, 3 debates, 3 debates, and at some point she has to respond.
866-90-RED-EYE.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
It's Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Thank you for being here this morning. What a lunatic of a day it was yesterday. Well, it's not a lunatic, because a day can't be a lunatic.
Yeah, but it was a crazy day, though.
It was full of lunacy.
Yeah.
We'll get to that coming up.
Top of the Hour News is brought to you by House Products. Visit houseproducts.com.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One. Now, it's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America and around the planet, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. How's everybody doing? Just one thing, because some response already. People like my passion, which I'm happy with. Look, the frustrating part about it is, I'll just go over one more time, is the fact that when Trump came out last week, well, what day was it last week that he came out and said that? Had come up with the 3 debates.
Was it Tuesday or Wednesday?
Yeah, it was. And what was it in response to? He was giving the press conference. That's it. Yeah, it was the press conference. So Tuesday or Wednesday. So they planned. They said, okay, we're going to get in there. We're going to say we want 3 debates. And we're already not just going to say we want 3 debates. We're going to schedule them and agree with the networks on that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even wait a week. And you're saying, okay, if she won't agree to it, we'll do town halls.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any sense. That's frustrating, because if you're making what I view as such an obvious error, if you put so much effort into scheduling these and promoting it and doing a press conference, and it's one of the first things out of the box, and then you let it go a few days later, why? And if you're making mistakes like that as a campaign, then is anybody paying attention? Is anybody awake? And this, I'm saying this with J.D. Vance has been great the last week. Trump has been acceptable. He hasn't hurt himself. And the commercials are right on, but I don't know if they're actually, if they're, that's the one thing I don't know. The only commercials I have seen on my streaming channels are Harris. I have yet to see one Trump ad.
Right.
On TV.
Mm-hmm.
I've only seen, and the Harris commercial I saw was yesterday on one of my streaming channels.
Right.
Which, of course, they would play, which would go national, most likely.
Depends. Some are targeted based on the location of your ISP.
Oh, okay. Well,
and she's campaigning in Texas because they're far behind.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what you hope to get, but
so I don't know the frequency of those ads, and that would be interesting if Trump is not, because I was reading the headline. All right, Trump behind, but the ad blitz is coming. So they haven't used those ads that we've seen online yet? That blitz hasn't happened yet? Right. If it hasn't happened yet, and I don't know, because I'm not in one of the battleground states, I don't know. That's the one thing that's very tough to figure out when you're in a state that isn't a battleground state. And
there's a lot of stuff we don't see because Texas will be a win for Donald Trump. There's not even a question about it.
And in a battleground state, you're going, God, I wish I lived in Texas where I didn't have to watch all these commercials.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it can get, in the battleground states, by the time you get to early November, people are flipping out. It's like, if I see one more. And so, that's I see my frustration somebody called it passion. It's more frustration. Well, it's passionate frustration because to me, it's such an easy call. I don't know how many you're going to get, but you don't. When you lead with that, well, you pound it then. Pound it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, they can still keep it up and see where it goes. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be the tactic or not.
Well, he can come out tomorrow and go, no, that information's wrong. No, we want it, but you should be pounding it all the time. It should be the first thing out of your mouth right now.
Right.
Because that's a weak point for her. The other thing that I found interesting, it's really, and most people, this really isn't being covered at all, but I think it's really fascinating because you've got, and we mentioned this last week, you've got Rasmussen polling just pounding, criticizing the other pollsters like I've never seen before.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, they're Mark Mitchell's all over the place on X, and I thought it was interesting because he wrote yesterday they added August 12th, and Trump is still up by 4 in Rasmussen. And in case you didn't hear yesterday, Rasmussen said we're going to be posting every single day, what the difference is. And they started here on July 22nd and Trump was up by 16 at that day. The 23rd, he was up by 6. The 24th, this is after the announcement, was down by 3, then down by 2. And ever since that point, he's been up by 1 point, 2 points, 4 points, 5 points, 1 point, 7 points, 5 points, 10 points, and the last 3 days in a row, 4 points over Harris. And he wrote yesterday, he said, added August 12th, don't let the embargo of other polling fool you. Democrats are in real trouble. He's accusing, now the New York Times came out with their poll yesterday that I think went to the 7th. But he said all the other pollsters haven't polled since the 4th.
Right.
And he says they're holding back on it, is his accusation. That's a huge accusation. And no other pollsters responding to this.
Well, they can I guess they can only hold back for so long, but yeah, they are certainly lagging. There's no doubt. You look at the dates on the polls, they are.
And he goes, Democrats are in real trouble. And then, the thread is really, really interesting because then came up the 538 average pollster error in the 2020 U.S. presidential race. Mm-hmm. All right, this is 2020, the estimates that they had. And the number one pollster for error, and I've never seen this pollster, Atlas Intel. I've never seen them. Maybe they do local.
Yeah.
They're doing, or they do statewide.
Right.
Then WIC, Atlas Intel. Second was Trafalgar Group. Now, Trafalgar really does the states. That's what they focus on.
Right.
And they were the closest. And Trafalgar came out with their polling just the other day that still shows that Trump is winning the battleground states. Then Insider Advantage, and then Rasmussen reports. And you go down, for example, the Siena College New York Times, upshot poll, which we see that all the time, and that was the poll that was done the other day, is down. They're down near the bottom of accuracy in polling, as is ABC News Washington Post. You know what the worst pollster was? By a big margin. They were off by 8.62 points, was Quinnipiac University that you see all the time. They were way off.
Yeah.
And so you look at it and you say, okay, well, you're talking about pollsters now. And Rasmussen, when in the thread, was saying when that chart came out about what 538 had as the average pollster error in the 2020 presidential election, he says, thanks, but we think we were even closer than 538 says. He goes, our polling was 1.5 points to blue in 2020. And then they go, it's interesting because you go down in the actual thread and, it was, someone said, well, Do you, is this just, are you just polling your friends? And he goes, nope. And he went through all the demographics of the polling.
Right.
All of it. Every single demographic and how they were polled. And I think it was, I'm doing this here from, let me just check here to see if I can find that. Okay, I can't find it here at the moment. But he went.
But I think he wrote about that. He may not have gone into detail last week, but last week when he wrote about it, he was talking about how they were very transparent, and the breakdown in terms of the weight on the demographics.
Yeah, I think it was Democrats like 35, Republicans 33, and Independent 32.
Yeah,
I think what it was.
Right.
And so, but he goes through everything, the age groups, everything, what percentage of it is there, and challenging other polling organizations to do the exact same thing he is doing.
Right.
And he claims that they're not.
Right.
But the interesting thing I find is this is about 5 days old that he has been taking off. Mark Mitchell, this is from Rasmussen, polling at the other pollsters, and I haven't heard anything. I've seen no response. I haven't
seen one response.
No, neither have I. And you would think you would see it on X.
Yeah.
And I haven't.
No.
So just that's fascinating.
Yeah.
But they poll every single day, but the accusation that they've got these results and they know the Democrats are in trouble and they're not releasing the polls. That's a hell of an accusation.
Yeah. And holding back on polls. But when you look at it, you look at the breakdown of some of these states, and it's like, okay, well, where are some of the pollsters? So they release polls in certain states, but they're not releasing polls in other states. Are they doing polls in all of those states? And if they are, why aren't they releasing all the information? You would expect, though, that one of the pollsters would come out and issue a response, at least one.
Right, and say that isn't true. Because there's got to be one poll out there that hasn't. Right?
Yeah.
That's maybe worried about their credibility.
Yeah, maybe.
Let me see. It was party 35% Democrat, 33% Republican, other 32 is the political demographic of the poll. Female 52%, male 48%. Ages 18 to 39, 30%, 40 to 64, 47%, 65 plus 23%. White 67%, black 13%, other 20%. That's roughly the makeup in the country, too, if you look at it. So, and then they go through every single age group. And let me just see here. Okay. How many, the number of people, look at this. 17% of people who claim they're conservative in the Rasmussen poll are voting for Kamala Harris.
I'm sorry, did you say 17?
Yes, is what it says. Ideology, conservative. Let me see. Kamala Harris, 17. Donald Trump, 78%.
Okay, so there's David French and who else?
Okay, liberal, 10%. Okay, it doesn't add up to 100% here, okay, because this isn't, they just, I guess they're, because they say conservative, moderate, everything else. So they're, so it doesn't add up to 100%. So
all right.
That doesn't matter. I really can't get anything out of it now that I look at that. So, but
17%. Yeah. You're a conservative. No, this is what it gets down to for me, though. Even with Rasmussen, it's impossible to qualify people who say they're Republican or people who say they're independent is where right now the bigger focus would be. Well, I'm independent. And the claim, again, you can make the claim. You can claim, oh, I'm conservative and I'm voting for Kamala Harris. All right. Let's stop down and have a real conversation about this. David French.
He got blasted.
Oh, my gosh. That was so bad.
You know what he got blasted for? He got blasted for the fact that he really didn't cover all the important issues out there, including lawfare and everything else that's been going on.
Right.
Jonathan Turley on this whole thing of freedom of speech, if they get elected, that, you see what's going on in Great Britain right now. That's what they want here in the United States. It's not going to happen.
Right. No.
In the United States, you're not going to save the First Amendment. Oh, by the way, the Harris polling it was all Supreme Court. The MAGA Supreme Court with, I think it showed Roberts with a MAGA hat on.
Wow.
That's what it was about, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we've been questioning the ability to continue to poll anywhere close to accurately. And because you have people that claim this and claim that, qualifying the respondents to me is everything. And there really is no way to fully qualify respondents. That's the problem with pollsters. People don't trust pollsters for a number of reasons. If there's any lack of trust by me and the pollsters, it's because of the inability to actually qualify the respondents to the degree that I would like. And I know, well, that's an impossible task. Well, again, then what are you doing? Look, they know the metrics far better than I do. They've been doing it. They do this, and I don't do this. So someone would actually have to explain that to me in today's world, how you get to a point of, because you, again, if it doesn't start with qualifying those respondents, then there's no, everything else that follows, again, it's the false premise. Everything else that follows seems logical, seems okay, but it's a false premise based on the false information you began with. And that's the problem I have with it. It's just a lack of trust. But we'll see. I guess we'll see November 5th who the most accurate is.
866-90 Red Eye.
Brought to you by FPPF, Fuel Power Max.
Just because idling is common doesn't make it smart. Idling a diesel uses about a gallon of fuel per hour, which can cost you about $180 per week at $4.50 per gallon if your truck idles 8 hours a day. Idling easily can cost you a few thousand more in fuel alone per year, not including the added engine maintenance expense that results from excessive idling. Harder on your truck's engine than highway driving. In addition to operating costs, many governments impose no idling laws and regulations with fines as high as $25,000. Instead, there are many alternatives. An extra blanket for cold temperatures, window screens for when the weather is warm, bunk heaters, and various auxiliary power unit options abound in this day and age too, many powered just by batteries. Otherwise, diesel and gas gensets burn far less fuel than your truck's engine. Research options to find your fit. Owner-Operator Business 101 is provided by Overdrive's Partners in Business program. Go to overdriveonline.com to the Partners in Business section of the website for more details on this and many other topics.
Brought to you by Shell Rotella. With advanced synthetic technology is designed to help keep your rig running with more mileage and less maintenance.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Yeah, that's one thing we have said, that the commercials we've seen online, the Trump commercials, are right on. I mean, they're beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I've got no complaints at all. And the one thing we asked is, well, okay, we don't live in a battleground state,
right? So
we don't know the frequency that they're running,
right?
We've got one of our listeners in Union, blue collar, Middle Michigan. 0 Trump ads running on TV. Kamala ads running twice in a row, every other commercial break.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier I misspoke and said internet service provider, but it's actually your IP address that they look at. But also they look at the voting, where how the demographics have shifted in every single neighborhood, every block in every neighborhood, and it is targeted as such.
I live in a Democrat precinct.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Call and join the conversation. 1-866-90-RED-EYE. Red Eye Radio.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Well, we have here more evidence that Americans are high. And I mean, they're really high on some really bad stuff.
They really are.
Which you hallucinate, you're delusional. What's my evidence?
Mm-hmm.
Fort Worth Star-Telegram. This is opinions from our readers from Sunday. You ready for this?
Mm.
Here we go. The Democrats' only chance and choice for president is Michelle Obama. She would be a fierce opponent for Donald Trump, but illegal immigration would be her big challenge. A hardline Republican on the issue as her running mate would be the answer. Texas Governor Greg Abbott. We need to unify America to bring back greatness. The Obama-Abbott ticket.
All right, man. Hear me out, man. Michelle Obama, man. And Greg Abbott.
Can you... I mean, I'm just afraid a drug that hard could have serious health consequences on people.
Come on, man. Bringing people together, man. That's what we're doing here, man.
What happened is I saw it. It was on X from 36 minutes ago.
Well,
and it says Fort Worth Star-Telegram, a presidential dream ticket to bring America together. Michelle Obama and Greg Abbott. It just says opinion. And I'm like, what idiot over there, thinking it was one of their editorial writers.
Right.
And it was from their readers. A presidential dream ticket to bring America together. Michelle Obama and Greg Abbott. This is sort of like the two-state solution.
Well,
nobody wants it.
Your dream is a delusion and is also a nightmare for both Michelle Obama and Greg Abbott.
Oh, my God.
Wow. They went big. They did
That's
what
true.
We said you should do.
Go big.
If you're gonna go, you should go big. I got it. Michelle Obama and Greg Abbott. Now, the Star-Telegram had to have put that out there just to know that people were going to talk about it.
Well, I don't know why they think that.
I heard it on the radio just a couple of minutes ago.
Well, it worked for me. The clickbait worked.
Well,
I was like, all right, what idiot wrote that?
Yeah, exactly. Who wrote this? Look, they don't really care about the readers. They're the paper that cares. I can't speak for the Star-Telegram. I can't. I really don't know what they care about, who they care about. But that's just bizarre. You got to go, I guess, as far as you can to each side, right? For the dream ticket to bring people together. Because Democrats would vote for that, right? I mean, this person puts Michelle Obama at the top of the ticket for president. So clearly it's a Democrat that's saying this. Now, I don't know how much weed you have to smoke as a Democrat to be okay with Greg Abbott being a deep pick. It's a lot. It's an unreasonable amount. You're probably into edibles at that point.
Imagine Greg Abbott waking up in the morning going, all right, what the hell is this?
Yeah, what is this? What? Because then you got to take it, a step further. No, I really believe people, because what they're trying to do is tell you and this is the delusional part, that if we just got one from each side, that you would get everybody's vote. That's not the way it works at all.
Well, didn't that party fail?
The No Labels Party? They couldn't find one from any side. All sides said no.
Again, the two-state solution.
Exactly. We're bringing all sides together. Yeah, all sides rejected the No Labels Party. They all said no. You definitely brought them together in one unified response. How about no? It's like people are gonna go, well, we've got one Democrat and one now. The problem is that there's only one. The problem with this whole thing is that then it's like, well, who gets to be president? Now, I'm going to take it further. Listen, you didn't go big enough, dear reader. Here's what I suggest. We're going to do an even odd thing. So on odd days, Abbott is the president and she's the vice president and vice versa. See, that's where it's then all equal. Oh, wait a minute. Some months have different numbers of odd days and even days. Oh, crap.
But
that's where Bernie Sanders comes in.
Well, you know what the No Labels Party reminded me of? I think they got it from the movie in the mid-'90s, My Fellow Americans, with Jack Lemmon and James Garner. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
Where, one's a Democrat, one's a Republican. But in order to bring the nation together, they decide to run together.
Yeah. Right.
And it was like they were thinking, well, who's going to be president? Who's going to be vice president? That was the big thing back and forth. So the No Labels Party came out of Hollywood delusion.
Right.
And it failed miserably. Are they going to try again?
Why not?
What did they call it? What was it? The compromise ticket? No, what was the word they used? The phrase they used?
Yeah, I don't know what just the No Labels Party is all I remember. What is it? The Great Compromise? Because that's what the left wants, right? They want compromise. They're all about compromise. The side that preaches silences violence wants compromise.
Wow. Can you believe No Labels was founded in 2010?
Yeah.
And they could never get
And I can believe that I didn't know that. Because nobody cared.
You want to know what their slogan? I looked up their slogan. Not left, not right, forward.
Oh,
We've heard
that before.
Is that where MSNBC got lean forward?
Lean forward. Sounds too much like bend over. I'm sorry. Unless you're my doctor, you say that to me, there's a hard no in your future. Lean forward.
No Labels, a national movement of people who believe in America and in bringing our leaders together to solve our toughest problems.
Really? I'm sorry. How many did they solve?
Well,
exactly zero?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the problem is, and we've said this, before, as the absurd thing of that reader of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram is the fact that we differ too much. You look at the insanity of just the last couple of days, and you wonder, why there is no common ground. How can there be common ground? We saw it on the radical transgender movement.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen how the Harris campaign and the left, we saw it. We saw the Star Tribune of Minneapolis on Tampon Tim and where that came from.
Mm-hmm.
And they made it an article as if that debate is about Democrats wanting to ensure that girls could have tampons and Republicans were against it.
Right.
And so the narrative started being Democrats started using that online. It didn't last long.
Kamala Harris's campaign's still lying about Charlottesville.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, still lying about Charlottesville.
They don't know any boundaries when it comes to lies. Tell me where the compromise is. Tell me why anyone and forget the two individuals that are proposed here in this ridiculous piece. A letter to the editor of the Star-Telegram. Forget about the two individuals, the former First Lady and the current governor of Texas, being on the same ticket. Tell me where the compromise is with. We'll start with the left. We have to start with the left. I don't want any, by the way, on the right. No compromise whatsoever. There is no middle ground for me.
Well, where is there a middle ground on freedom of speech?
There isn't.
You had Waltz out there saying, that misinformation and hate speech isn't protected speech.
Right.
I mean, that goes back to Chris Cuomo a couple of years ago.
Right.
Getting embarrassed because he's supposedly this big, high-profile lawyer celebrity, and he has no idea what free speech is about.
Yeah.
None. Zero.
It was
and
online for 15 hours trying to answer, basically answering for that, and at the end of the day, basically had to wind it up with admitting he was wrong.
Yeah.
How did you not know that in the first place? But where's the middle ground with these radicals? And I've been saying since October 7th of last year, there is no middle ground with those types of radicals. You're pro-Hamas. There is nothing I'm going to meet you in the middle on.
Right. Harris the other day was just, I think it was might have been yesterday, the day before. No, it was in the brief talk she had in Phoenix on Saturday, where she was asked about, civilians are dying. Well, yeah, are they doing? And nobody asked a follow-up question. Well, is somebody doing it on purpose? Are there war crimes involved in here?
Right.
And what are the specific war crimes?
Right.
No, we know it's collateral damage. We know that Israel, when it comes to collateral deaths, is because of the precision, because of the weapons that Biden has held up from them, the weapons that make sure that they can be much more precise.
Well,
when it comes to what you see in war, is the best ever in not having collateral damage and civilians die.
Well, look at the propaganda. We've covered this before, but it hit again over the weekend, and this happened, and I had to do a screenshot on my phone because you and I have apps and every different news group and everything else, and so stuff is basically, our phone is flooded with all these notifications. Here's the notification at 1:32 a.m. Breaking news. CNN. From the CNN app. At least 90 Palestinians have been killed in an Israeli strike on a school in Gaza, according to local officials. What local officials would that be?
Hamas.
Propaganda for Hamas.
Yep.
Full stop. CNN.
Well, you think about what we've seen over the last 3 weeks. I mean, it's pure propaganda from the media. And I did see more conservatives on social media yesterday saying, these are political activists, they're not journalists.
Right.
Thank you.
Exactly.
How long have we been saying that?
Right.
866-90 Red Eye.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. You see the Time magazine cover of Kamala Harris?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Wait till I tell you what was inside of it coming up here. They set her up to fail. Democrats blame Biden for Harris's dismal approval ratings as vice president.
Yeah. Yeah.
You knew this was coming.
Well, don't you have to build out the excuse, right?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised after he speaks a week from Monday if then all hell breaks loose. Where the Harris campaign blames it all on Biden.
You think before the election, even? You think that'll happen before the election? You mean?
Well, yeah, I said a week from Monday after Biden's done. Yeah,
right. I'm confirming.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One. Now, it's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across the USA, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Thank you for being here. All right, from X 28 minutes ago, between 7:47 p.m. and 10:47 p.m., Donald Trump's space posts received 73 million views. During the same period, there were 4 million posts about Elon Musk and President Trump's conversation on X, generating a total of 998 million views. So the combined views of the conversation with the real Donald Trump and subsequent discussion by other accounts now at 1 billion.
Globally, yeah.
Well, yeah, he's trying
All right, yeah.
hoping to get advertising there. I mean, it's
And don't forget, the EU is watching. We don't care and haven't since 1776.
Oh, my gosh. I did see there's a cartoon out there, sort of a meme form, though, and it showed the founding fathers. And it was like, well, no, we're not going to be like them. We're going to have free speech. And then it was like, then the next one was, and a right to keep and bear arms. It was like, oh, wow, this is going to be great.
Yeah, right.
Like, what a novel idea.
I love it.
But this, the Time magazine with this is beautiful with Kamala Harris on it. It wouldn't say her time, her moment. It said her moment on it. And in it, they said the campaign has refused to have her be part of this discussion at all on the fluff piece. But listen what was in it. Democratic leaders and strategists blame Kamala Harris's record low approval ratings as vice president on President Joe Biden, saying he set her up to fail from day one, according to the article. Harris's dismal record on voters' top issues, including illegal immigration, has come under scrutiny since she became her party's presidential candidate. Democratic supporters, in a Time magazine cover story on Harris, blamed Biden for handing Harris his dirty work, leading to her widespread unpopularity as vice president. Yeah. Quote, it's always hard for the vice president because the president is the one setting the policy and taking the responsibility, said Harris ally Representative Adam Schiff. And historically, vice presidents have often taken on the work that presidents don't want to do. As vice president, Harris was tapped by Biden to be the point person on immigration. Wait a minute. She wasn't a point person. Who said she was a point person? If she wasn't a czar, how can you say she was a point person? Was that term ever used, point person?
It wasn't even her responsibility. She had nothing to do with the border. She doesn't even know where the southern border is. Okay, we went too far. She doesn't even know what nation is on the other side.
And they write here, because who wrote this here? This is from, just get where this is from. Okay, is this New York Post? Oh, no, Free Beacon. Okay. As Vice President, Harris was tapped by Biden to be the point person on immigration. Since the administration has been in office, more than 7.8 million migrants, including nearly 100 individuals on the terrorist watch list, have illegally crossed across the border. 2 years ago, Harris cast the tie-breaking vote in favor of the Inflation Reduction Act, which critics say is a key contributor to higher prices for Americans. Inflation has jumped to around 20% compared to 8% under the former administration. In 2023, Harris's record earned her the lowest approval rating of any vice president in American history. Democrats have also blamed the vice president's weak record on her inability to keep a consistent staff. Harris's staff turnover rate was nearly 91.5% during her first year as vice president, according to OpenTheBooks.com. And past employees have come out saying Harris constantly berated and looked down on her staff members. But there you go. It was Biden's fault.
Yeah.
And by the way, you knew this was coming up because if they're going to make the decision to have her change and basically become a border hawk,
yeah,
the only way they can do that is to say the only way you can justify that with any credibility, even to your own party. She's never going to do it with us because we know what she thinks. We know what she thinks. We know what she has actually said in the past about illegal immigration. That was all over the place yesterday. Did you just see the one? I'll see if I can find it, where she was at back in 2019 at some pro illegal immigrant group. And the question was asked, what she was going to do, and she said she would get rid of all illegal immigrant detention centers.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to play that all over the place. That's a problem that she has. But the only way that she can reverse course is, number one, to say, well, that's what the president wanted to do, and I have to agree with the president. Now, the problem is you have her, in her own words, telling you what she thinks. And that's the problem.
Yeah. Interesting. This is, I don't know, I guess. Yeah.
I have the audio.
They put this here online as well. First of all, the picture or the illustration of Kamala Harris on the cover of Time, she looks confused. It screams, what am I looking at?
Who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose?
But the piece is so over the top fluff.
I know.
Here's the beginning. The soundtrack suggested a Beyonce concert. The light-up bracelets evoked the Eras tour. And the exuberant crowd, more than 14,000 strong, lining up in the rain resembled the early days of anyone? Barack Obama.
I was going to say Hillary.
No. Even Democrats go, yeah, we can't use Hillary there. Inside a Philadelphia arena on August 6th, Vice President Kamala Harris was greeted with a kind reception. Well, yeah, it was for her. A Democratic presidential candidate hasn't gotten in years. I'm sorry, a kind of reception. I got that wrong. A kind of reception a Democratic presidential candidate hasn't gotten in years. Man, you couldn't be throwing Joe Biden under the bus any further than with that line. Fans packed into overflow spaces, waving homemade signs made of glitter and glue as drum lines roared. When Harris introduced her new running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, the cheering lasted more than a minute. Are they saying a minute like the kids say it, it's going to take me a minute, which means hours? Or are they saying 1 minute, as in 60 seconds? Because that's not very long. This is the kind of garbage I had hoped we were beyond. Certainly they're not beyond writing it at time. But in terms of reading this kind of garbage and fluff, it's just stupid. And I really do wonder how many people, maybe at least one reader of the Star Telegram, are so delusional that they read this and go, yay. And we say Star Telegram, you have to go back and listen to the last hour. A letter to the editor, the dream ticket of Michelle Obama and Greg Abbott. That's what they suggest, the reader. But they're delusional. And the writers here are delusional. How much did you have to smoke to write this piece?
Well, again,
because none of them, Time Magazine 4 weeks ago wasn't chanting Kamala's name. Oh, by the way, it starts here. This is the name of the piece, The Reintroduction of Kamala Harris. It wasn't the introduction that was the problem.
Well, again, I don't believe those writers are actually delusional. They're political activists. They know exactly what they're doing.
I know, but you've got to come up with the words.
Now,
you're going to have to smoke a ton of weed to make that happen.
If you believe it, you're delusional. Yeah. But the political activists, and I'm glad finally, I think we mentioned the other day, even Trump said, well, hopefully the media will do their job, or they need to do their job. They are doing their job. They're political activists. I just want Republicans to finally stop fooling themselves. Don't expect that the media, if there's ever been, we saw what happened during Russia collusion. And then I'll never forget the Mueller report after that came out. And we sat here as Republicans were saying, we hope the media has learned their lessons. And we're screaming, stop it, you idiots. They're not journalists. That's like asking a basketball player to be a hockey player.
Yeah, that's
it's a completely different occupation. They're not journalists. They're political activists working for media groups that used to employ journalists but don't anymore.
My point in even that is that you still have to smoke a lot of weed to put those words into print. You have to be especially delusional to think anybody would buy it.
Well, look, the reason they did it, because we saw how quickly it happened. She was horrible. She was the drag on the ticket a month ago. She was, horrible. We got to figure out a way. She cannot do this. And then automatically they flipped a switch. Because why? This is all about propaganda politics. It's not about where she truly stands on the issues. Everything is a propaganda lie right now with the Democratic Party on where they stand on the issues. Why? Because the American public vehemently disagrees with where she stands and where the Democratic Party stands on the issues. And this is the ultimate. You were going to get to this point sooner or later when the public has completely rejected you about where you stand on the issues, you have no other choice but to lie about everything.
Make it up as you go along.
Yeah. Republicans don't lie when it comes to where they actually stand on the issues. They want you to know where they stand on the border. They want you to know where they stand with defund the police. They want you to know where they stand on Israel versus Hamas. It's the Democrats that are lying or on Israel trying to ride the tightrope that, oh, we don't support Hamas. We support the Palestinians. Yeah, but who controls the Palestinians? Well, Hamas. Well, we want a two-state solution. Nobody wants a two-state solution. Who wants a two-state solution? It doesn't matter. If nobody wants it, then we're safe in stating that we want something that nobody wants because it sounds good and it sounds like, well, if we can only have the compromise, one side is terrorists, the other side is a democracy. We have to throw that out, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other side, Israel, is a democracy under the umbrella of democracy, just so people understand. We know that they are not a direct democracy. And the other side is terrorists, and that's why you said day one, after the October 7th attacks, Eric, there is no middle ground.
Nope.
The Democratic Party is pro-Hamas. They are pro-terrorist. Kamala Harris is pro-terrorist. Biden is pro-terrorist. That's why the New York Times came out with the article where the activist, the Hamas activist, she said she's willing to consider discussing with them a arms embargo for Israel. Understand these people mentality, whether it's the politicians or whether it's the, quote, journalists, but in reality, political activists who cover them. Everything is a lie. You are seeing propaganda lies like you've never seen before in American political history because every major issue that the Democrats stand for have now hit the wall of reality.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's where we stand right now. And everybody in the Democratic Party, from the people that are everybody is in on the lie. Does anybody believe that Kamala Harris is tougher on the border than Donald Trump wishes to be tougher on the border? No, they know it's a lie. Does anybody really believe that Kamala Harris is pro-fracking? No. And the climate activists don't because that's why they've embraced her. Everybody is in on the lie. The political activists, in the media, the party, and the voter.
It'll be interesting to watch the continued separation of the Harris ticket from the Biden administration.
Oh, I think it's going to happen.
You were saying before the top of the hour, you think it's going to happen before Election Day. I was thinking it'll definitely happen after Election Day if she loses.
Oh, if she loses, yeah. But I mean, they want, after he's done speaking at the DNC, throw him under the bus. They don't need him anymore. They don't care. They don't care about, look what they did to Biden.
Yeah.
You know, look how Harris was horrible and now Harris is great. They don't care. They'll change like this if they believe they can get the political advantage out of it. I think they'll throw Biden under the bus. They have to. There's no way she can convince the American public that she has changed 180 degrees. She can't do it anyway, I don't believe.
Then where do you put Karine Jean-Pierre? You give her the rest of the year off?
Well, you know, yesterday they asked her what was one thing that Kamala Harris did. She couldn't answer the question. She just went blah, blah, blah. It's like, you never answered the question.
Nope.
She couldn't name one thing that Kamala Harris actually accomplished.
Nope.
866-90-RED-EYE.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Carly, and I'm Gary McNamara. Yeah, I think they will throw Biden under the bus. That's the only way that she can attempt to make the switch. Now, it's going to be tough to do that when the Trump campaign will play the things that she said when she was running for president, like this.
Hi, my name is Sally Hartman. I'm a volunteer with the Center for Worker Justice. Okay. I want to know, when you become president, would you be committing to close immigration detention centers?
Absolutely, on day one. On day one.
That's the problem she's going to have, her own words.
Yeah. And, you know, the entire, it's a flip-flop. It's a 180 on everything. It's an entire set of lies on every major position that she holds. And nobody believes it. Most importantly, the left.
Yeah, they know it's not true. That's the point. Everybody knows it's not true.
When you build that on lies, there's no way you can say, well, I've had a change of heart on everything.
Yes.
In the last 4 months.
And it was all Biden's fault.
Right. Yeah, you can't get away with it.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
And he is Eric Carly, and I'm Gary McNamara. All right, I want to play this yesterday. This is CNN and Scott Jennings again. Actually, some of the best stuff is coming from Scott Jennings on CNN.
Yeah, right.
Because when you hear him, really nobody's trying to debate him on these issues because you can't. But and this is a problem that the Harris campaign has. Mm-hmm. Here's Scott Jennings yesterday on Harris and changing every position she took, as opposed to when she was seeking to be the president 4 years ago.
It's not about her coming up with new policy proposals, coming up with a deep, detailed platform. It's about one thing, explaining her record and explaining today how she can be against everything she ran on when she ran for president back in 2019, 2020. I mean, we're not talking about stuff she came up with 20, 30, 40 years ago. When she ran for this office, she laid out a clear set of proposals that were as far outside the mainstream as you can get. Now, through anonymous press spokespeople, she claims to have repudiated all that. I'm not as interested as much in white papers as I am as interested in her explaining how can you be for defund the police here, but not here? How can you be for the most permissive border policies here, but not here? That's what most Americans need to hear. Who are you? The person that ran for president then or the person that ran for president now because you're claiming to be something that you were not 4 years ago?
No.
And the turnaround has happened, from this point, the turnaround has happened in just weeks.
Right.
It has been a 180 on all these key positions in a matter of days. Not even to a full month yet.
And then the whole tax on tips thing, which is just, and the way that CBS covered that one is just,
yeah,
is just
fighting for it. And
she's fighting for
with
it.
Trump, the government will lose money.
Right.
This is Trump derangement syndrome is real. It's been in play on the left, but it does boggle the mind that they're so unaware. There is zero self-awareness in how you sell it, in the approach to sell it. They're going to try it at every turn. Really, you and I were kind of carrying the conversation into the break. The show really never stops. But you have to sell it to the middle. Liberals believe you're stupid. They're counting on the ill-informed, those who don't pay attention until, August, before an election. That's what they're counting on. I don't think you're stupid. I know, Gary, you don't think they're stupid. With the exception of, we'll name some names after the next break, but there is that mindset that this is what we're going to float. And if there's enough stupid people to go hook, line, and sinker on this, she wins.
I think of Karine Jean-Pierre, and we've talked about her before, but she's on a much smaller scale because the vast majority of the nation does not watch the daily White House briefings.
Mm-hmm.
They don't.
Mm-hmm.
What, maybe 1 million people a day? You may hear
Maybe.
the audio. You may hear,
most of them conservative now.
Probably, yeah. Because when we looked at it, we had talked about the gaslighting that comes, from Karine Jean-Pierre, and it's the indignant, when she's lying, because gaslighting is more than lying. Gaslighting is to the point where she knows she's lying, the press knows she's lying. The people watching it on TV know that she's lying. She knows that the press and everybody watching knows that she's lying. Everybody watching knows that she knows that we all know that she's lying, and she does it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have and then is indignant, like, you don't know this? Like the lie is actually the truth, and if you don't agree with the lie is the truth, then somehow you are the one to be mocked, and that's where gaslighting really comes in.
Yeah.
That's where it comes in.
Yeah.
Now, they really haven't done the gaslighting yet because she has not yet taken all of these positions in her own words. The only position she has taken is one of Donald Trump's lead positions, which is no tax on tips, when she was the one that signed, was the final vote to push the bill through that would ensure that we tax tips, that would have an enforcement mechanism of more IRS agents to tax tips. That would be if she ever got into that discussion where the gaslighting would start.
Right.
But right now, with her changing all the positions that she has believed in, we know she's far left. She has not had an epiphany where she's become a conservative.
An epiphany on everything.
On everything, right.
In just a matter of days.
Right. And the fact is, we even made the case, and somebody else made it the other day too. We made the case as soon as she did it. I remember I came in, I go, Eric, I got a thought. What? She's not saying she changed it. Campaign sources are saying she changed it. As Scott Jennings was saying, anonymous press flax. But it's coming from inside the campaign saying, no, that's not what she believes. But nobody knows who's saying it. And I said, I think she's setting up plausible deniability.
Right.
When I first saw that yesterday, her from 2019 talking to the activist, I wasn't sure when that was. I had to go look that up. I said, is she saying that now? Because I think the other thing that she wants to do is she will have different opinions to different audiences.
Yeah. Right.
And because she has to. Can Kamala Harris come out next week and say, I am pro-fracking and I want the border closed? Can she say that at the DNC next week?
No.
Can she come out at the DNC and say, I want the border closed, I fully support Israel, and reject the two-state solution because the Palestinians that are controlled by Hamas don't want it? Can she say that? No. Can she say, and add to that, pro-fracking? No. She can't. If she does, and everybody doesn't boo, it just shows that everybody is in on the lie. We're all going to support what the lie is. But everybody knows right now, every Democrat listening right now or listening in the future on our podcast, every Democrat knows that she's lying. And if you're a Democrat, you know you're okay with the line because the line will get you elected. So you're not actually running to make the country better, because all these policies that we have seen is what helped to cause the majority cause of inflation, the crime in the cities with defund the police, the insanity with open borders. We all know the destruction that it does. Democrats know it. If you're a Democrat voter, you know the destruction that liberalism has done.
Yep.
And so the reason you're okay with the lie is you know she doesn't believe it, and you wish for the destruction of the United States to continue. You don't believe in freedom of speech. You don't want the First Amendment to be strong. You don't believe in freedom of religion. You don't believe in freedom of speech. You don't believe in the Second Amendment. You don't believe in the separation of powers. You don't believe in an independent judiciary. You believe in lawfare. You believe in going after the opposition candidate. You have to, because that's been the policy of this administration. And you know she hasn't changed all of her positions on all of the issues. You know she's lying, and you're okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically where they are, because there is no outrage. We don't see any pushback at all from the left on her 180 on everything.
Nope, none.
You're not even hearing it from the activist groups. You're not actually hearing protesters come out and say that. Now, she got the pro-Hamas activists in Michigan that were chanting. That's the only, and maybe I missed it, maybe there were others. That's the only protest group that I know of so far on her campaign trail.
And the question is that still going to be a disaster? Are they going to come out in full force?
So what do you do? What do you do at the convention? We were asking this question when Biden was still running. What do you do? How do you make that go away? Because keep in mind, their job at convention, actually, I think they have two. There's two main priorities. It's to reinvigorate your base to make sure that voter apathy isn't still going to be a thing, because with Biden it was going to be. But also the middle. You have to get independents on your side. And you can't do that with radical positions on the stage. But how do you ignore the radicals?
Noah Rothman, National Review. They're still coming for you, Democrats. You know what? Kamala Harris growled after being forced to depart from the text of her stump speech last week amid the familiar hectoring of a handful of anti-Israel demonstrators. If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that. Otherwise, I'm speaking. To this, the pro-Harris crowd roared with approval. That's encouraging, but only insofar as her allies recognize that any movement of the fanatical adoration to which they've treated the vice president these last few weeks risks shattering the whole artifice. Deep down, her supporters recognize that accommodating, much less courting, these elements on the fringes of the progressive politics has reached the point of diminishing returns. The argument implicit in Harris's criticism isn't that Israel's mission in Gaza is moral and a practical necessity that advances America's permanent interest abroad. It's that the protesters' cause is a minority proposition. Mm-hmm. The Harris campaign has yet to propose a policy agenda that might explain to the public what she intends to do with the power she seeks. So analysis of her campaign must rely on the parsing of statements produced by the Harris staff. And yet the campaign does seem committed to rebuking the protesters as a practical matter when, for example, the New York Times got wind that Harris had taken a meeting with ceasefire activists in Detroit and reported that she was open to embargoing arms shipments to Israel. The campaign was quick to strike the rumor down. She does not support an arms embargo on Israel, Harris's foreign policy advisor Phil Gordon declared. She will continue to work to protect the civilians of Gaza and uphold international humanitarian law. Sensitive as they are to the slightest rebuke by the Democratic Party's more mainstream factions, the jilted activist class is set on revenge. According to the Washington Post, Democrat leaders had hoped that Harris's elevation would shrink the protest based on the assumption that her role under Joe Biden rendered her the foremost critic of the Israeli government within the administration. But to many activists, Harris has not nearly done enough. Thus, the demonstrators are still planning to show up in force at the Democratic nominating convention, intent on exposing the disunity within the party that Harris's nomination has quieted. So there you go. But the fact is, she's with those protesters. She just can't sell it.
Right.
They talk about the diminishing returns. It doesn't mean that the core and heart of the Democratic Party, including Kamala Harris, isn't pro-Hamas.
Well,
they just can't sell it.
What she's saying to them is, quiet, I need to lie for a minute.
Yeah.
Quiet, because the kids will hear you. I need to keep lying. The poll that we talked about, was it yesterday or last week? That more people believe she would be better on the economy than Trump. You're insane. You're a moron or you're crazy if you believe that. Or you're lying.
866-90-RED-EYE.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Carly, and I'm Gary McNamara. We got some great audio. We'll tell you how much it's changed in the last month, the narrative, because it really is amazing. We'll actually have an audio cut from MSNBC and what they were saying about Kamala Harris just last month.
Right. Yeah.
Just amazing.
Then all of a sudden, she's the one.
Well, and that's the thing. And that's why I say it, because it's true. Every Democrat knows that everything here is a big lie, but they're okay with it. And they're okay with their vote not being counted.
Yeah.
They're okay with it.
Well,
they're okay with it, which makes you wonder, where is the moral base of the Democratic Party on anything? Truth doesn't matter to them.
Right.
What does?
We've been asking that for a while.
Right.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One. Now, it's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across the USA, we are Red Eye Radio. I'm Gary McNamara. He's Eric Harley. So let's go back just to last month, okay, on MSNBC.
All right.
Reporter from the New York Times on MSNBC having a discussion about Kamala Harris.
I think plenty of people are talking about ways to skip over Kamala Harris. In fact, if you listen to Democratic leaders, Democratic donors, especially when they're speaking anonymously, privately, they say that she is by far the weakest of the candidates who are mentioned most frequently as possible Biden replacements. Now, of course, she and her team are going to make it very difficult, should the situation come to that, to skip over her, because you can already see in some of the quotes that they're, seeding stories with anonymously, that they are going to point to the fact that she is a woman of color, and people are saying, no, next, please. That's going to be very difficult for a lot of Democrats to get past, but that is the strategic move that Kamala Harris's camp seems to be turning to.
Jeremy Peters from the New York Times. That was the narrative a month ago.
Yeah.
That she is the worst. Now, we have seen this change. What is it, Democrats, that made you change?
And you just abandoned every reasoning up to the point that you just heard. What you just heard was basically just an example, a sample, but I believe represented millions of Democrats.
For the last 3 years.
What made you completely abandon all of that? Maybe like her, you just did a 180 on everything.
We know that it's the fact that they had no choice.
You're being force-fed this.
Right.
You didn't get a say-so on it.
Right. You didn't get a say-so.
This isn't you.
No, it's not. It's not you. It's again, the authoritarianism of the Democratic Party that the voters are okay with.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, somebody would be complaining, and nobody's complaining.
No one is complaining.
You're fine with it. The authoritarianism, as we have said, the racism, the majority of racism in politics today comes from the identity politics and the anti-Semitism of the Democratic Party.
Mm-hmm.
The anti-authoritarian narrative also comes from the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
They are the ones that wish to change the Constitution. They are the ones that don't believe in freedom of speech. They are the ones that don't believe in freedom of religion. They are the ones that believe that the Second Amendment is antiquated. They are the ones who do not wish that the judiciary stay independent. They are the ones who don't believe in the three branches of government. They are the ones that don't believe. This is the only place you hear it coming from is Democrats in the Senate.
Yep.
All the racist and authoritarian narratives that exist today, the stronghold is in the Democratic Party.
Yep.
And when I say identity politics, I mean racism, I mean anti-Semitism. It's found a home there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess if you abide by identity politics and anti-Semitism, if, as we have seen, so many in the Republican Party, in the Democratic Party are pro-terrorist, pro-Hamas, well, of course they don't care about anything else except gaining power.
Sure.
And this is right, Democrats, this is, I don't believe this is anything that you don't know. This is what you know. You're okay with it because all you care about is getting the power no matter how you get it. You and I remember Ed Schultz saying it, the late Ed Schultz.
Yep.
Said, any way we get it, lie, cheat, steal, whatever, we have to get power away from the Republicans.
Yep.
And that was back, how long ago was that?
Oh, my gosh. Oof. Wow.
15 years ago?
I was going to say, at least.
It was around Obamacare.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
So,
and by the way, that is exactly how they got Obamacare through.
September of 2009.
Yeah.
September of 2009, I believe is when we said that.
Yeah, right at 15 years.
Yep. Remember that? Remember that speech where he was screaming?
Republicans want you to die.
They want to.
They want to.
What was with the dead corpse?
They want to. What's it? Make money off your dead corpse.
Off your dead. Yeah.
They want to make money off your dead corpse.
And by the way, we did fact check that and say that was inaccurate because it's the Democrats that believed in the death tax. It's great to have long memories, isn't it?
It is.
You know, at our age, it's good to be able to tap in and not live in the bubble of today.
Exactly.
But what's going on right now is the Democrats hoping that America lives in the bubble of today, that yesterday doesn't exist, only today exists, and whatever opinion you hold today must be legitimized. Hey, if a man can be a woman whenever the man wishes to, and then doesn't have to be a woman the next day, why can't every opinion be like that?
Is Russia today, are they still around? Isn't that who Schultz worked for in his later years, in his final years?
Yeah, he was there, yeah.
Yeah.
At Russia Today. Who else was there?
Steven Seagal. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe you didn't work there.
Oh, speaking of that, I should have saved it. I know I couldn't because there was profanity. That's why I didn't say it.
Yeah.
Save it. The wrestler, what's his name?
Ventura?
No. Yeah, Jesse Ventura.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be any billionaires at all.
We shouldn't have any.
You know what his reason was? Because he was in Special Forces, and if Special Forces aren't billionaires, then nobody should be a billionaire.
Oh, okay. All right. Do you want your Special Forces to be billionaires?
I
Should
don't.
that be the motive?
Who the hell knows? He's delusional. But again, as we always stated, as I stated way back when he wished to be the governor. Boy, I'm telling you, when you look at the governors of Minnesota, they are weird.
The governors of that's what I was saying the other day. If you ask people who the current governor of Minnesota was, half of them would probably still say Jesse Ventura.
Well, I remember when that whole thing went on. It was like, no, I remember because I was working in, golly, that's like 27, 28 years ago.
Yeah. Wow. That's weird.
Because I was in Portland. I was working at our great affiliate, KXL, with the great Lars Larson. And that's when that was all going on. I remember callers to the show. Well, it's great because he brings something different. And I went, what?
Yeah. What is it?
What?
Yeah.
It's like the whole no labels party.
What's he promoting?
We're going to bring you something better, which is we can't talk about it.
Right.
What do you mean you can't talk about it? If we talk about it, people might get angry.
Right.
Yeah, but you're about issues. So eventually you're going to have to take a stand on the issues. We're only going to take a stand on the issues when we find people that will run for political office from different political parties who won't discuss the issues but will be candidates for our nomination for president and vice president.
Which we ended up never being able to do.
Exactly. I mean, that's the, oh, God. I'm sorry. The No Labels Party you're dealing with children.
No, I mean, it is this. It really is this. It honestly, it's not cocktail socialists. It's edibles socialists. You're just standing around in this delusional state.
For those people who don't know, when we say that, because there are some people that don't know what edibles are. Edibles are the edible form of THC or marijuana.
Yeah, get with it.
Yes.
Or
if you buy it off the street, possibly fentanyl.
Yeah. Yeah, don't buy it off the street. And don't break the law.
Wait a minute.
Huh? What? I paused before I laughed.
No, we need to take a delusional liberal position and put this is your brain, and then when they say it, this is your brain on drugs.
Yeah. There's nothing there. Hello.
Wasn't it the frying egg?
Yeah. Which always made me hungry. It's like, this is your brain on drugs. Man,
dude, I could go for breakfast,
eggs.
man.
Let's go. Come on, man. Let's go.
Let's get breakfast.
Hey, who wants pancakes?
I want flapjacks.
It's just, why? Man, it just made me want to do more weed. It really is, though. It is that delusional state of sitting around, but it's also that arrogance. We're not right. We're not left. We're just right. Hold on there, Goldilocks. Let's shut up.
Go eat your porridge.
Just
go sit in the corner
stop.
and eat your porridge.
You've got. There are bear everywhere, and you're not in the least prepared.
That's right. The bear's at the door.
Little Red Riding Hood, what's going on with you? Huffing and puffing. Huffington Post and puffing.
Are we getting Goldilocks and Little Red?
I'm combining them all. If you're going to talk to children, that's how you have to talk. Yeah. Yeah, Goldilocks was the Three Bears. Little Red Riding Hood was, I think, a horror movie, wasn't it? Was I wrong about that? Maybe not. Was that one of the John Wick things?
Characters.
Little Red Riding Hood. It could have been. But it is that state of living. You really are. You're living in a fairy tale. We'll bring both sides together.
How?
Here's the thing I would suggest. Stand up and go outside. 10 minutes. You don't have to live outside. You don't have to go out there and live in the outdoors. Just go outside your four walls for just a minute and breathe in a little bit of reality. I'm not saying the world's going to hit you in the face. Just get some fresh air is all I'm suggesting. Because you're living in this childish fantasy.
Hey, just so everybody knows how we got here tonight, because we've mentioned the no-label parties a couple times, and the people might have said, well, how'd you get there? I was going through X earlier, and there was a post from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram that said, opinion, basically the perfect ticket. And it was Michelle Obama and Greg Abbott. I'm like, what? Yeah. And it was actually from a reader. We thought maybe it was the lead editorial for the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, which we were then going to demand that they all get drug tested, but it was a reader. It was reader's opinion who said, well, that would be the perfect ticket. You'd have Michelle Obama that everybody loves, and then you'd have somebody who was tough on the border like Greg Abbott. It's just like, wow. The thing is with the no labels, or anybody says, well, look, we need to find the what do they call the person who's supposed to bring everybody together again. The fact is, every time we have asked, and we did it with the No Labels Party, we said, how? Based on what issues would you bring them together? Who do you actually do? And they couldn't come up with an answer, because when we ask those questions, or anybody asks the questions to No Labels, what brings people together, they couldn't come up with an answer.
No.
In fact, they said, well, what the issue would be? Well, we're not going to discuss issues because first we need the people to come aboard.
But the problem is that they have us now ask each of them, any of them with this idea. Where's the middle ground? For you, where's the middle ground? Where did you see the middle ground? What issue needs to be compromised on?
How do you have a middle ground on the radical transgender movement? Men get to define the definition of a woman. Where's the compromise?
And on
only liberal women?
On the radicalism, on the pro-Hamas movement, don't say two-state solution, because there are no calls for two-state solution from the would-be two states. That's an ages-old political discussion, and neither side is looking for it.
Right. Might have been a great theory 30 years ago.
Well, that was the idea. And quite frankly, I think it was delusional back then. It is certainly delusional now.
Completely delusional.
And there is no way to get there. But except you keep promoting it the way that the liberal media does, that your, local officials, they say, when Gaza is struck by Israel, local officials say, well, who would those local officials be? It's not the IDF.
But I think
Hamas.
I think the Democratic Party has come up with the solution of how to bring everybody together. They've shown it the last 2 weeks. Yeah. Embrace Trump on the issues. Embrace what Trump believes, because that's what Harris and the campaign is attempting to do. So to bring the nation together.
Kamala Harris agrees with Trump.
Right. Kamala Harris agrees.
According to her own campaign.
With Trump, according to the campaign. That's how you bring the country together. The issues that Trump believes in.
Trump is bringing everybody together, including Kamala Harris.
Right.
She is now pro-Trump on the issues.
They should use, by the way, let's see, 4:21 Eastern Time.
Write it. Put it together.
Okay, who's up listening to WMAL right now? There it is right there. Kamala Harris is now pro-Trump.
Don Jr. Put it together.
Yeah. Who's listening? Come on, put that together. Let's get that done. We can.
Donald Trump is bringing everyone together, including Kamala Harris. She now agrees with Donald Trump on the issues.
And by the way, back off on that thing that you're going to hold 2 town hall meetings if you can't get Harris to agree, 2, 3. Nope, don't do that now. Reverse it. Call her a coward for not wanting to do all 3 debates.
Right.
And pound on her day in and day out. There. See, we do the opposite. Republican Party, you've got your talking points from Red Eye.
Go.
866-90 Red Eye.
Brought to you by Hot Shot Secret.
Hi, I'm Jen Loomis, a transport safety expert at J.J. Keller, and I'm here to share a tip on roadside inspections. Once a roadside inspection is completed, the officer will close it out, which involves the officer writing or typing up the report. The more the officer found during the inspection, the longer this will take. If violations were discovered, most officers, as a courtesy, will explain the violations to the driver. If there were any out-of-service violations, the officer will normally explain what must be done to get the out-of-service order lifted. Drivers need to be very attentive during this part of the inspection. The driver also needs to read and understand the complete inspection report. After receiving the inspection report, the driver has 24 hours to get the roadside inspection report to the motor carrier. If the driver will not be returning to a company facility within the next 24 hours, the driver needs to know to get it on the way to you via email, mail, or fax within 24 hours. This tip was brought to you by J.J. Keller & Associates. Visit us at jjkeller.com.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. So we got it all set for Deep Voice Guy. We're going to, after that last segment, we don't take talking points.
We write them.
We write the talking points here, Red Eye Radio. Okay.
Yep.
We got that one. Then we get a new one for Deep Voice Guy.
Well, I think it's very clear that Donald Trump is bringing everyone together, including Kamala Harris, who is now pro-Trump on the issues.
Yes.
And it takes a while. I think this is the thing, is that, sometimes it takes a while. It takes a change of heart, in a big way to do what she's done, to be so pro-Trump, within a matter of weeks.
Trump is what brought the Democratic Party to its senses.
Yes.
Get our Red Eye Radio app in your app store. Then listen at your convenience. Red Eye Radio.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Download our Red Eye Radio app today, and you can listen to our show after it's over.
Mm-hmm. And thank you.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I know we had fun in the last segment, but we're serious.
That should be a talking point.
That should be a talking point of the campaign. And so we always reach out. WMAL. We know somebody's listening in the campaign because anyone in politics listens to the great WMAL.
Exactly.
So the talking point is simply everybody starting today.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll give you you can get it together by this afternoon. Every single talking point should be, we are so happy that Kamala Harris is now pro-Trump.
On the issues, she's pro-Trump.
She's pro-Trump. That Trump has united the country to the point where Kamala Harris, the Democratic nominee for President of the United States, now embraces the pro-Trump agenda.
It's where we are now as a nation.
Kamala is MAGA.
Yes. Exactly. And it's undeniable because,
I'm being serious on the issues where she claims she stands on the issues. She is
pro-MAGA.
She is pro-Trump MAGA.
Yes.
You got to have everything in there. Pro-Trump MAGA.
Mm-hmm.
Not just MAGA.
Mm-hmm.
Pro-Trump MAGA.
Which shows you that it can be done. Look, you and I have been long deniers of bringing people together, and I never thought it would happen.
Well, everybody heard this happen organically in the last 20 minutes. This was not a thought we had in our minds 15 minutes ago till we started thinking, when because the No Labels Party and the narrative out there, we need to bring everybody together. It's like, well, all of a sudden we realize, well, it's just happened. We have brought everybody together on the issues. The Democrats now are pro-Trump MAGA on the issues because of Kamala Harris.
Well, the thing is that, I would even say that I can't even tell you that I have been one of these people to say and wants everyone to come together. I don't want that at all. I don't like people. I'm not a fan of people.
This may be the wrong path to go down.
Well, I just want to prove the credibility here.
Okay.
That I recognize it's actually happening. I'm not saying I like it, but then again, see, I don't have to be friends with everybody. In fact, I insist on being friends with exactly nobody.
I'll take it up a notch.
Yeah.
We were wrong just 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
We said on the issues you can't bring people together because there's too much of a difference.
Well, technically we said you're delusional if you want that, if you're looking for that. And I would still hold that position because I don't want it.
Well, why? Because it can't happen because we can never come together on the issues. But Trump has been so convincing. Trump, in his moderation, has been so convincing to Americans that Kamala Harris is now pro-Trump MAGA on the issues as recently as just 2 days ago, where she embraced his no tax on tips.
Listen, what Eric and Gary said up until the last segment is irrelevant, and stop Googling it. That's none of your business. Only from this point on, or the last segment on, is the only thing that matters on this.
Because we live in the bubble of right now.
That's right. I mean, if Democrats can pull that off, we can try.
Why not?
He is bringing people together, and that's what matters. Not to me, but it matters apparently to some people.
Now remember,
we're the station that cares.
When everybody says this, you need to have that twinkle in your eye because nobody believes that the Democrats have really moved to the pro-Trump side. But you repeat it over and over and over and over again.
Post it on your social media.
Post
Trump
on social
is bringing
media.
people together. Even Kamala Harris now agrees with Trump on the issues. Strong on the border. Even people believe even that she's strong on the economy.
Yeah.
It is now
pro-fracking.
It is the unity you've been looking for, and we thought it would never happen. And it's happening in front of our eyes. And now we can see it clearly. That Donald Trump is bringing people together, including Kamala Harris.
Donald Trump is uniting this country on the issues.
Pro-fracking. My gosh, pro-fracking, pro-economy, strength on the border. I wanted to work borders are in there so badly. It's very clear that Donald Trump is a leader.
He's a uniter.
Other
politicians have said it.
This is what our country has been longing for far too long.
Yes. Trump has united the country. And the Democrats are now united with Republicans because they endorsed the Democrat nominee who now, on the issues, is in sync with Donald Trump.
And I'll listen. I'll talk in the way that Kamala Harris talks, so that maybe some people will be able to connect better. And the longing that we have longed for. Seriously, it's not legal in Texas yet. Is that what you're trying to tell me? And the longing that people have longed for, we long no longer. I'm just going to leave it at that. I can't go any further.
I'm sitting here. I'm trying to get the post on I'm sitting here typing. Donald Trump has united the nation. That's my first sentence on X.
Yes.
And now the next one would be
even Kamala Harris agrees with Donald Trump on the issues. DJT equals the great uniter.
Peace out. No. Even Kamala Harris now agrees with the pro-Trump MAGA agenda.
There you go. Wow. DJT equals the equal sign.
Now I got to give a few examples here.
Okay. Oh, yeah, no. Go
ahead. I'll give the examples. And
Donald Trump is pro-fracking. Harris agrees. Donald Trump is strong on the economy. People believe Harris agrees. Have to be careful on that one. Donald Trump, strong on the border. Harris agrees. There's no way around it.
Oh. Donald Trump, pro-Israel. Harris agrees.
Harris agrees.
All right. I'm not going to continue typing because we're actually doing a radio show.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm worried more about the tweet. Yeah, it might have a larger audience, but but you can't deny it. You cannot deny it. There's no way around it. Donald Trump is the great uniter. Make America great again.
All right, I'm not supposed to put Kamala, right? Isn't that misogynist? I have to put Harris.
Really?
Yeah, somebody.
I guess I'm going to have to delete some tweets then.
I was in the woke. What do you call it? Rule book last week.
Oh,
you can't say Kamala. You have to say.
I didn't
Harris.
get that update.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess it's in the mail.
All right, so here's what I have. Donald Trump has united the nation. Even Kamala Harris now agrees with the pro-Trump MAGA agenda. Donald Trump is pro-fracking. So is Harris.
Yes. Harris agrees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Harris agrees. Harris campaign agrees.
Yes.
Right? Because that would be technically somebody said, well, Harris didn't say it, the campaign did. You guys are wrong. This is misinformation.
By the way, you sound just like her when you... in that voice. I'm pretty sure she sounds just like that. I haven't heard her in a while. It's been a minute since I've heard her voice.
All right, that's what I'll do here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to type while everybody's listening to the show.
All right.
Oh, did you see Newsweek? Donald Trump says he'll flee to Venezuela if he loses the election. He was on with Musk, and they were having fun. Oh, lose the election, the country's gone to hell. Well, we'll meet down in Venezuela.
Yeah. Yeah, and they took that and ran with it.
Yeah.
Wow. Seriously.
This is how bad it is, but yeah, I'll have this done and put this tweet out and see how it
breaking news, Elon Musk just bought Venezuela. This just in.
The show is falling apart.
Oh, well.
Well, it's either falling apart or it's reached a new level of bizarro greatness.
Yes, exactly.
Totally bizarro. With the accent on bizarro.
Yeah. I love it when they bite on stupid things like that. When the liberal media just goes crazy. He said, lighten up, Francis. It's a joke. Wow.
Yeah, but they should use it. I'm serious as a talking point. Seriously, the campaign should use it.
Oh, our stuff?
Yeah.
That's a serious talking point.
Yeah.
I was talking about the Venezuela stuff. Our stuff? Oh, no. That absolutely should be used. We want, in fact, as soon as you post it, I'll share it. Everybody needs to share this on social media. Take this and run with it. Take it and run with it. Donald J. Trump, the great uniter. Finally. What not this country, what the world has been waiting for.
Can we go bigger than the world?
The universe. Well, because, wait a minute. Elon Musk is in space, so yeah, we can. We can.
Okay.
Absolutely can. He's wanting to move us to Mars, so yeah.
Okay.
We can do that. I'm pretty sure he'd be okay with that.
That car's up there somewhere, isn't
Somewhere.
it?
Battery's dead, but it's still flying. Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, we're doomed, but boy, are we having fun.
Oh, man.
866-90-RED-EYE.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Thanks so much for being here this morning. Coming up following the top of the hour, something that the Trump campaign hasn't mentioned or has not mentioned as frequently. In fact, I don't remember the last time I heard him mention this particular issue, and is it because of a poll that came out late last week? We'll have that coming up for you here in just a little bit, as we are just proclaiming the greatness of Donald Trump, uniting America.
Yes.
After Kamala Harris and the Democrats agree with so much of the pro-Trump MAGA agenda.
Right. That he is clearly the one responsible. He was president long before she was ever vice president.
Exactly. She's embracing
the pro-Trump MAGA movement.
That's what I have to put. That's what I have to put. Yeah, that's what I have to.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris has embraced.
Has embraced.
That's what I got to write. Okay, that's it.
He is the great uniter, unifier of people. It can't be denied. So stop denying it. Because it's not going to work. You can't deny it. It's undeniable. It's anti-deniable.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.